Welcome back to this video. Today we are going to see about glycolysis. So before going to glycolysis, we have to know about introspection of glycolysis. So that is what is respiration in plants, how it occurs, where it occurs, and what are the types. So first, respiration. So respiration is a biological process in which organic material are oxidized into carbon dioxide and water, with the release of energy is called respiration. Okay, from a release of energy are used for synthesis of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So mostly respiration occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria of plant cells. Next, type of respiration. So there are 5 types, which is anaerobic respiration, fermentation, aerobic respiration, floating respiration, and protoplasmic respiration. First, anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration is a biological oxidation that occur in the absence of oxygen for breakdown of organic material to release energy, lactic acid, and carbon dioxide. So these anaerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm in the absence of oxygen, and it is very common in animal muscles. Second one, fermentation. So fermentation is a biological oxidation that occurs in the absence of oxygen for breakdown of organic material to release energy, ethyl alcohol, and carbon dioxide. So this is also occurs in cytoplasm with the absence of oxygen. Third, aerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration is a biological oxidation, and this occurs in the presence of oxygen for breakdown of organic material to release energy, water, and carbon dioxide. So these anaerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm and mitochondria with the presence of oxygen. Fourth, floating respiration. So floating respiration that utilize carbohydrates and fats as a substrate is called floating respiration. Once again I repeat, respiration that utilize carbohydrates and fat as a substrate is called floating respiration. Next, finally, protoplasmic respiration. So protoplasmic respiration that use protein of protoplasm as substrate is called protoplasmic respiration. So protein is the main component of protoplasm, that's why we call it as protoplasmic respiration. Next, we move on to the main topic of glycolysis. What is glycolysis? One molecule of glucose is converted into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is called glycolysis. It occurs mainly in the cytoplasm. Next, all carbohydrates, for example starch, sucrose, fructose, so all these carbohydrates are first converted into glucose for using glycolysis. So for this we need an unique enzyme which are present in the plant cell. Next, glycolysis is also known as EMP pathway, and it is also called common respiratory pathway because we already seen that respiration in plants occurs of 5 types, which means aerobic, anaerobic, fermentation, protoplasmic, floating respiration, all these. So from this, common respiratory pathway includes anaerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, and fermentation. Once again I repeat, aerobic, anaerobic, and fermentation. Next, so during glycolysis, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are degraded. It mainly occurs in the cytoplasm. Hence it is called cytoplasmic respiration. So this cytoplasmic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. So these are the intro part of glycolysis. Next, we see into the glycolysis steps. So first step is glucose react with ATP to form glucose 6 phosphate. This enzyme is catalyzed by the enzyme hexokinase, and it requires Mg++ as a cofactor. So this is the first step. Second step, glucose phosphate is isomerized to fructose phosphate in the presence of enzyme is called phosphohexoisomerase. Next, third step, fructose phosphate is phosphorylized to form fructose 1,6 diphosphate using an ATP molecule with the presence of enzyme is called phosphofructokinase. Next, fructose 1,6 diphosphate split into two molecules, which means 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. For this, an enzyme is needed, which means aldolase. Next step, 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde react with Pi in the presence of NAD+ to form 1,3 diphosphoglyceric acid with the presence of enzyme is called phosphoglyceraldehyde dehydrogenase. Next, sixth step, 1,3 diphosphoglyceric acid react with ADP and it lost phosphate group and it form 3-phosphoglyceric acid with the presence of enzyme is called phosphoglyceric acid kinase. Next step, 3-phosphoglyceric acid is converted into 2-phosphoglyceric acid in the presence of enzyme is called phosphoglyceromutase. For this, we need cofactor, which means Mg++. Next step, 2-phosphoglyceric acid is dehydrated to form phosphopenol pyruvic acid with the presence of enzyme is called enolase. And finally, ninth step is conversion of phosphopenol pyruvic acid into pyruvic acid is the final step of glycolysis in the presence of enzyme is called phosphopyruvic kinase. And for this reaction we need cofactors which are Mg++ and K+ are the cofactors of this reaction. So these are the steps which are involved in the glycolysis reaction.